Hello, everyone. Welcome to this VC Lab session. We're so excited to have you here and to have our fantastic panel here. Today, we're going to be talking all things AI in venture capital. And, it's kind of everywhere right now. So we have two kind of experts here to talk about what's happening in venture capital and AI at the moment. And it's kind of something everybody wants to know about these days. So my name is Mirto Lalakos. I am a principal at Desal Group, and I run our flagship programs at VC Lab. We are powering the next generation of VCs worldwide, and we're making venture capital more ethical, more accessible, more affordable around the world. We're also running programs like LP Institute, where we're kind of nurturing individual and institutional LPs to learn about the venture capital asset class more. We're running a program called Venture Institute for anyone who wants to break into venture capital from a career perspective. So, we're kind of really building a community from top to bottom in venture capital. With the view of making this kind of more democratized worldwide. So all of these programs that we run at VC Lab, they all fall under the kind of Desal Group. And at Desal Group, we're building and kind of providing everyone with an array of programs, services, and tools to set up VC firms. So for any of you guys here launching a venture capital fund, we actually have applications open for cohort 16 at the moment. And I don't know if you guys know this, but it's the last opportunity that you will get to participate in a VC Lab cohort for free. We have had to take the difficult decision to, start making money as a company. We've tried to run this for free as long as possible, but obviously we've come to this point where we need to charge. So if you apply before the early deadline at the end of the month, you can still participate for free. But if you apply at any time after that, then unfortunately you'll have to pay. But even if you have to pay, you're going to get so much value from the program. All right. So, with this kind of introduction out of the way, let's kind of turn to today. We're focusing once again on all things AI. We have two fantastic, the VC kind of managers here who specialize in this topic. Before we get into it, I do need to read a disclaimer. So the content presented today is not directed to any investors or potential investors and does not constitute an offer to sell or a solicitation of an offer to buy any securities. So without out of the way, let's get straight into it. And everyone, we want to make this as interactive as possible. So if you see in kind of the sidebar on the right, there's a Q&A button, there's a chat, and right chat button, and then right under that there's a Q&A button. So put your questions that you want to ask this panel on the Q&A section, because we're going to be kind of reading a lot of these out to the panel too, to allow everyone to get involved. And after this session, by the way, at the top of the hour, we're also opening up for general networking, and that should be a lot of fun. So if you can stick around for that, that'd be amazing. So alrighty. Our panel today is Rachel Chalmers and Roger Luo. Thank you both so much for being here today. Everyone, use the emojis and kind of give them a round of applause as well if you can. And Rachel, let's start with you. Do you mind introducing yourself for everyone here?
Not at all. Thank you, Murto. I am not from here, as you can probably gather from my accent. I grew up in Australia, moved to San Francisco, started my career as an analyst with 451 Research, which was sold to Standard and Poor a few years ago. But at 451, I built the infrastructure practice, and I was lucky enough to be the very first analyst to talk to Cloudera, VMware, and Splunk when there were a handful of engineers working out of garages. Got myself a reputation as a unicorn hunter, was headhunted by venture, and was very fortunate to be early money into companies like Aviatrix, Docker, Honeycomb, Launch Darkly, and Trifactor. My first AI investment was in 2013. It was a company called Wit.ai, which was sold to Facebook and became the basis of Facebook AI Research Lab. Today, I am both a part-time partner with HeavyBit, which is a seed stage fund for developer-facing startups, and the founding partner in Generationship, which is a pre-seed fund for women founders in AI.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Roger, over to you.
Hi everyone. Good morning and good afternoon where you're coming from. My name is Roger Luo. I'm the manager of Embedding VC. I'm a AI operator and a builder turned investor. I got my PhD in AI machine learning in 2011 before it's a very popular topic like today. And I'm working on AI, work as the machine learning lead of different industrial labs. Most recently, I was head of machine learning at Niantic, where I oversee the whole machine learning team. And before, I was I lead the machine learning team at Snapchat and Yahoo Research. Also, been 2 times AI SaaS founders with 1 exit. I've been actively doing angel investment and being a venture partner in the Scout for 2 different funds since 2017. And in the last 7 years, investing 30 plus startups, which including 3 unicorns, before I make the leap to become a full-time investor.
Wow. Okay. What a background. You guys have been active in the space for way longer than OpenAI, obviously. So I just kind of can I take you back to kind of when you first started being interested in AI and just tell everybody here what was it if you can still remember kind of what was it that made you so interested in the space and that made you go all in to the sector when it was still a big bet, obviously. And Roger, we can start with you.
Yeah, it's been a while ago. I think my I was choosing my thesis topic when I was there doing undergraduate, and I was in the computer science, electrical engineering majors, and I was reading like a few research papers on different machine learning, or like by that time it's still like called pattern recognition algorithms, right? How people utilize that for recognizing characters like what's called OCRs, and some of the like very things that pick like people take by common today, right? Which is like already using everyday's life. And I got fascinated by the topic, and I was very into programming. So I decided to choose a thesis to work on in this topic. That's how I got into machine learning. Like get down to the rabbit hole, and later was working on robotics in my doing my master, and then like doing my PhD. I become more focused on developing like a machine learning algorithm.
I love
For
it.
me,
Rachel, what? Mhm.
yeah, for me, it was very organic. I've always been very interested in infrastructure software, in operating systems and virtualization. And that necessitates being interested in the tools that manage them as well. And most of the monitoring and management tools and the big data tools that are designed to run planetary scale platforms need to have pattern recognition algorithms and some amount of machine learning in order to manipulate these enormous quantities of data. So I think that for a lot of people, ChatGPT in particular seemed to come out of nowhere and was like a step change. And certainly it's a huge step up in functionality, but it does follow on from work that had been going on for 20, 40 years. It has its roots in a lot of techniques and methods that have been present in computing for a long time. I see software generally as an architecture, an archaeological dig. You dig down and there are layers and layers of history behind you, and everything makes sense in terms of the layer that it was built on top of. That historical understanding of the software stack, I think, puts AI into a much clearer context and makes it much easier to understand its strengths and weaknesses.
And Rachel, you kind of your pocket in AI, which is such a big umbrella right now, is kind of women in the space. Can you talk a little bit about that and why are you interested in this?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, women have always been here. Women have always been working in the computing industry. The very first people whose job titles were computers were largely women working in the Manhattan Project. Huge developments like Wi-Fi owe their existence to the innovation of women founders. So it does puzzle me that the most recent statistics show that 2% of venture capital flows to women. It seems to me that founders build software that reflects their character. Charity Majors, who founded Honeycomb, is an immensely curious person who thinks in n-dimensional space, and that's reflected in Honeycomb, the software that she built. Edith Harbaugh runs the Western States Trail. She's unbelievably resilient and tenacious, and her software, Launch Darkly, makes companies more resilient and more creative when it's put into wide use. The characters of founders inform their software, make their software wonderful. And it just seems to me unreasonable to overlook the contributions of half of the people that we have at our disposal. We face, as a society, wicked problems. We talk about this at Decile all the time. There are enormous things that we need to fix. Our best tool for fixing those things is human ingenuity. I think we need to find and encourage and bankroll all human ingenuity, no matter where it shows up, no matter who has it.
Amazing. Roger, what's your pocket of AI and why are you operating in that space?
Mm, I just because I've been working on this field for such a long time, right? So like I have a strong conviction on the value it can create it, and I think being a long-term believer on the AGI, I think with the like the invention or like the breakthrough in the generative AI technology, I think we just onward in a new supercomputing cycles, and a lot of the purpose, including the working process, is going to be make more efficient and automated by AI, and a lot of new application is going to create it. It's going to improve humans our everyday life. So I just want to be part of this like technology revolutions, and to be able to support like more funders and to achieve their vision. So that's make me yeah, make me want to be like want to join the winner and the and support the funders. Yeah.
Yeah. And Roger, Rachel, obviously, you probably know this better than anyone, but it is kind of when we're talking about AI, it's such an emotive sector, right? You've got optimism and excitement on the one side, and then fear and feelings of being overwhelmed on the other. If you guys can kind of be completely honest, like how does AI make you guys feel? What's the kind of range of emotions or kind of emotional roller coaster it takes you on? And Rachel, maybe we start with you.
Sure. I mean, AI is a technology. It's a human set of tools. It's informed by the characters of the humans who build it and who propagate it. I guess I feel about it the way I feel about human society in general. It's overwhelming. It's incredibly powerful. It has enormous impact on our planet. Some parts of it are absolutely delightful. Some parts of it will make our lives easier, will give us better access to healthcare and mental health care, will make our existing systems more powerful and resilient, will make it easier for us to discover drugs and novel treatments. Some parts of it will obviously be harnessed for surveillance and societal control because that's what humans do when they have tools available to them. I think what I mostly feel is that in order for the power of this technology to be democratized, it's incumbent on those of us with a lot of privilege and a lot of education and a lot of access to speak up and describe the kind of future that we want and to work towards the kind of future that we want. In my case, that means not only inclusiveness, but sustainability. I also do a lot of work looking at climate tech and supporting climate tech founders because I really like this planet. It's where I keep my stuff. I would like the human race to step up and be capable of what it's capable of at its best, building the James Webb Space Telescope and looking into the distant past of the cosmos and learning about our place in the universe. I would like to minimize or mitigate the impacts of what human beings do when they're not at their best.
I love that. Roger, what about you?
Yeah, so I really agree with what Rachel has said. So like we as the capital allocators, we have a lot of responsibilities to decide what startup get funded and to also raise our voice to help to help shift the focus of the field, like responsibilities, safety, compliance. They are all very important. And at the same time, also to help support the funders to build an amazing product to improve everybody's life. And in I'm particularly excited about how AI uh, how AI workforce are, right? Like we as we been very involved with the the engineering communities. We are particular focused on AI engineers. Recently, a few unicorns has been minted in these areas, and so the technologies continually shift and improved and can already complete a lot of the simple software development task. This particular this field advanced first because software can be self verified and tested. I'm also particularly excited to see the other field which simulation is possible, can allow the AI to self improve and also to grow more powerful and to be able to solve to build a similar agent workforces to automate those tasks, and at the same time pick and shovels such as the different dev tools and infrastructures around these areas. They are also what we are particularly excited about and focus on.
I love that. And right now, I mean, there's been VCs around for a very long time, but now suddenly all the VCs want to be investing in AI. You guys have been doing it for a long time and you've been extremely successful in it. So, can you give us a sense of why you're different in terms of a venture capital investor investing in this space? What do you do different? What makes you good in this space? And Roger, maybe we start with you this time.
Yeah, I think for me it's nature because I've been working in this field for more than 15 years. I have wear different hats, right? Not just the investor hat. I've been a builder, I've been a founder, I've been a researcher. So and which make me really able to I speak the same language as the some of the engineering and the product background funders, and make us to be able to speak the same language, understanding the struggle that's been going through. And a lot of funders I spoke to, like it's even before they incorporate their companies, I support them with ideations. I share my journeys. I provide them with very honest feedback. They all appreciate that. And beside that, I think it's a lot with my technology background, with allow me to do in-depth due diligence on what the company is building, and including look through their code bases if it's an open source project, and as well as helped as well as just really evaluate the technology mode. So that the differentiate me from some other from other investors who come from like a different background.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And that relatability, we say this all the time, venture capital is such an interpersonal kind of industry. And so just being able to relate and speak the same language as you say is just so it can get you so far in this game. Thank you, Roger. Rachel, why are you such a good investor in AI?
uh, right now, my partner in generationship, Michelle Yee, who comes from a similar background to Roger, is my secret weapon. She is also she was the lead engineer on the version of Watson that won Jeopardy, so she's also been working in this field for more than 10 years. Is incredibly brilliant and is able to connect with deeply technical founders as a peer and work with them on strategic and technical architecture. I'm kind of a completely different archetype from Michelle and Roger. My original background was in literature and journalism, and so as you can probably gather, I'm a big storyteller and I'm a communicator. One of the things that I do with founders is I work very hard on their story. I work very closely with them on customer discovery to find the thing that customers value about the product that they're building, and then I work very hard with founders on narrative and putting together that compelling pitch that will help them to raise downstream funding. So those are two of the ways in which I work to enhance the value of the companies that I've invested in. As far as being a picker goes, I'm different from other investors because I invest in women. So
I love that so much. Thank you so much. So, everyone, just a reminder, put your questions in the chat for the panel. I do want to read one out that has come in. Uh, I read that AI is unprofitable compared to software. Is this statement true? Either of you can go first.
it's an interesting question. First up, AI is software, so we're comparing AI to other software. Second, it's hard to assess the profitability or not of an entire field. It's much easier to look at companies. So, is OpenAI anywhere close to covering the venture capital that's been invested in it? No. Is it generating a huge amount of revenue? Yes. Um, will it eventually be profitable? That's in the lap of the gods. If you look at Nvidia, Nvidia is wildly profitable right now. And you can argue that's hardware, but certainly AI is generating demand for not only GPUs, but other kinds of products that underlie it that are making those companies very profitable. There are a lot of people profiting from AI right now. Is it a financial bubble? I think some of the very biggest valuations are going to be very difficult to justify in the public markets. Um, I think other companies in AI are undervalued right now. It doesn't follow the pattern of, say, the 2008 financial crisis or, and I'm going to make some enemies here, Web3, where there was way too much speculation and not enough intrinsic value at the core. I think there is so much intrinsic value at the core of what we are now able to do with these language models and other models that eventually we're going to figure out how to harness them and use them powerfully. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that OpenAI will eventually make money for its its investors, because there is quite a noble history of a company that is at the center of a technological revolution failing to profit from it. I would call out Xerox PARC as a really noble example here. They produced incredible technology, and they were never especially financially successful. I'm not saying that OpenAI is one of those. I'm just saying that there is precedent for a company that comes up with an enormous technological leap and isn't necessarily the direct financial beneficiary. Do I think there is money to be made around AI? Evidently, I am throwing my entire self into it. And so are most of my friends in the tech industry, quite honestly.
Roger?
Yeah, just built on what Rachel said, right? So like you probably referred to some of the articles of people Sequoia Capital published recently about the way AI have least 500 billion whole because of 600 billion has already been put into the construction of the, or maybe 300 billion has put into like the construction of the infrastructure, including buying GPUs and building the data center. And like it's true that a lot of investment has been put into it. Just like the past construction of building the railroads and the internet highways, but it took a long time for it to generate the value. Is there a hype? Maybe some bubble recently, that's possible. But at the same time, as a founder, I have been through several cycles. I can really tell the AI is real. And I including our portfolio company, and I spoke with several application companies. They are generating really good revenues. They have experienced amazing growth, as well as the market demand is here, right? So like there are a lot of the customer focus or sentiment has changed. They really want to adopt AI product in both their daily work, as well as utilize that to make their personal life more personal, everyday life more productive. And if you find if for fun, I couldn't I don't want to reveal some of the company's secret sauce, but if you find a product market fit, they see a 5% team generate 5 million ARR revenues. There are a lot of companies in this category. Again, there are a lot of competition as well. We see hundreds of market tech companies, hundreds of different dev tool companies, and it's about good company and bad companies. But in the end, I have a strong belief that AI is going to double the GDP of the global GDP in the next 5 to 10 years.
Wow. Okay, can we talk numbers though a little bit? Like, can we talk revenue multiples? Like, what kind of valuations are you seeing, kind of compared to revenue right now? And if you want to share, what do you think is appropriate in the AI space?
Well, I'll start. I look at very, very early companies like ideation, pre-revenue. So the multiples I'm looking at are literally infinite. If there's no revenue, then any valuation you put on an early stage startup is an infinite multiple. And that's where I'm really comfortable. Like, I don't have a finance background. I have infinite respect for the people who do growth stage investing and look at the metrics and look at the spreadsheets. I'm most comfortable like doing that, finding the story, finding product market fit, and projecting from there. So um send founders to talk to me when they've got an idea and a glimmer. That's where I like to jump in.
Roger?
Yeah, I think overall, I think when people refer to the hyper of AI in the startup space, you probably see some companies receive enormous amount of fundings in their C stage and the Series A's, and those tend to be really overweighted in a few foundational model companies. Right. So like last year, if I remember correctly, like about 50 billion global money was put into AI, but like 11 companies received half of the fundings. Right. This Q2 also like a lot of the data shows that the investment reached the 8-quarter high. But if we from among that, I think like the CoreWeave, XAI, Scale, Perplexity, their investment is like maybe composed take like 40% of the total investment in Q2. Yeah, we also see, I mentioned earlier, also see a lot of these AI coding unicorns being minted, even through like the general public. They haven't a public launch yet, or I haven't seen how well they have worked. But for us as the small fund, like we don't play in that field, and I would say the valuations of the early stage companies, especially on the applications and the Dev2 layers, are still quite reasonable. Although like for the very pre-seed stage, pre-revenue companies, the multiplier is infinite. Like we mainly just look at the TAM and the talent, and but the valuation is similar to the pre-COVID 2019 stage. And because the AI really is generating revenues for like Series A stage companies, even through Leo is not our primary focus. They have very reasonable multiple, in my opinion. Right, a lot of Series A companies with they raise at the at a 15%, 15 times multiples with 3 to 5 million IRR. Right, so it was very different from a few years ago, where like a 1 million IRR was a big stone for product market fee, and you can raise in Series A.
Yeah, and I think Roger's exactly right. And one of the consequences of that is it's actually a really great time to be deploying capital in these smaller early stage companies. The valuations are relatively reasonable compared to 22 and 23. And there is an absolute profusion of amazing founders. Thanks to last year's layoffs, thanks to the AI gold rush, there are incredible people with incredible backgrounds now available starting companies. It's really deal flow is not the problem. The deal flow is very exciting.
And obviously, you know, you guys are always looking ahead in this space. Everyone's kind of looking at ChatGPT, and you're looking like already at like what's happening in the next 5 years. What kind of things are you seeing that's really exciting to you right now?
I am an infrastructure nerd. I read infrastructure books for fun. I've spent my entire career writing and investing in software infrastructure. These language models are so weird compared to everything we've been building for the last 30 years. They use GPUs, they're incredibly resource intensive, they're highly centralized. All of the infrastructure that we've built for distributed microservices and planetary computing, we're going to have to rebuild. It's so awesome. We're going to have to rethink everything from terminals and IDEs through the entire build and deploy pipeline to how we deploy these things, the containerization, virtualization layers, how to secure them. Everything's going to have to be refitted to accommodate large language models. And that's an incredible opportunity because, again, we're building on 40 years of best practices in computing. We can cherry pick the ideas that worked in the past. We can re-implement them in modern technologies on modern hardware. We're going to be able to build some truly extraordinary infrastructure. And again, to Roger's point, software infrastructure is like railroads and the electricity grid. It's something that democratizes access to power and energy for everybody. It's a fundamentally generous platform, and the opportunity to invest in people who are building every piece of this new planetary computing infrastructure layer is just incredible. I'm so excited about it.
Roger?
Yeah, so I kind of indicated early, we are very interested in the AI workforce, or like some people call it service as a software. We call it as AI agent as a service. And we are just start to looking into beyond the AI engineering field to see if similar success can be replicated in other areas. This is one area we have strong high conviction on. I do think like Dev2 and some of the software infrastructure is going to have a lot of opportunities. Unlike Rachel, we are mainly like software investors. So we'll as this year we see a lot of these Dev2 companies or like software infrastructure companies they managed to capture some of these what we call the like prototype budget or like a demo budget but however next year we expect that a lot of more large enterprise that are going to launch their generative AI empowered software, which means that the usage is really going to increase, which will really stimulate increase the demand for the support from the dev to the infrastructures. Another new areas I was fascinated about and start looking to, although haven't yet built a strong conviction are the foundation models or like the brand for robotics. Right, we start to see some of the large fundings being recently announced. For example, the Skillet just announced their 300 million round Series A, led by a lot of top tier VCs to build this AI foundation model for robotics. So, and I think that's area is also going to have a lot of opportunity, just like how the GPT models become a catalyst for to support the building. So to support the building at least the AI agent and the other chat based services. Like the robotic hardware has really advanced significantly, such as Tesla's Optimus and as well as a Figure. And also a lot of Chinese manufacturers, they really take advantage of the local supply chain and so significantly drop the humanoid robot and other robots cost by a factor of 10. So it's really make these devices more available and so hardware is hard, but when this kind of robotic human have become like an iPhone like device everyone can access to, then the main limitation are the robotics intelligence. And I think in the next few years, I really want to have a robotic nannies help in the house to help with doing the helping with the houseworks.
This is so fascinating. One of my colleagues at Desal Group reached out and is like, I can't wait until I have my robot cleaner, cook, dog walker. Yeah, no, this is so fascinating. I really like this question. So it's from the audience. So do you see a move towards vertical integration across digital infrastructure, tooling, foundation models, and potentially application layers? Will there be a few big winners or lots of small ones? I don't know who wants to go first.
There's always a power law distribution. Um, there's always going to be a few big winners. I think the characteristic of the market right now that I really like, I think great companies are built in relative scarcity of capital. I think that's what makes it a buyer's market right now. It forces founders to be scrappy and ingenious. I think what that means is like there's always a few big winners. A market like this means there's a few big winners and quite a few small ones as well. And for investors who are not Sequoia or Andreessen Horowitz, it's that uh, number of small investors, the mammals versus the dinosaurs, if you will, that make access to the markets a lot more interesting. If you're investing at very early stage, or if you're a founder, then a $500 million exit can be life changing, can be incredibly meaningful. It doesn't even move the needle on a fund like Andreessen or Sequoia. So I think there will be lots of small winners out of the cohort that we're seeing right now. I think 2024 is going to be a more blessed vintage than sadly 22 and 23 were. Um, that said, that there are obviously going to be a few big winners, because when you're commanding, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars in early stage funding, um, that incents behaviors that drive towards very, very large outcomes. That's just the way capitalism works at the top end. Um, what's really interesting right now is that, yes, I do think there is a real chance for those of us who are playing in the middle of the market to have really positive outcomes.
Sorry, before we move on to Roger, I just want to double click on what you said there at the end, Rachel. So can you kind of draw out that picture where there's a lot of small winners? Like, what's everyone doing? How, if you have the ability to kind of consolidate all of these AI kind of capabilities into one, how do you then have a world where there's a lot of small winners? If you can just kind of draw it out for us.
Yeah, this is to the point about vertical integration. I mean, vertical integration doesn't always work, and a lot of what we're looking for from this new generation of tooling, as you said, Moto, is personalization, is a robot that works in our home and cooks for us. At the software layer, we're looking for a lot of specialization and high customization as well. And all of the activity that we've seen, the big companies are building the large language models, but all of the activity that we've seen around the edge is adapting that fundamental utility to a huge profusion of ancillary services in healthcare, in legal tech, in dev tools, in just an explosion of areas. I think, um, even if eventually every aspect of that gets baked into the large language models, some significant proportion of that integration is going to happen via M&A. And that's an incredibly fertile market for early stage investors. I would say M&A exits are significantly likelier, and if you do the economics right, almost as profitable as IPO over the last 5 years. I think building tools that are going to be essential to one of these big integrators gives you a path to a profitable exit that is probably more plausible than we're going to build $1 billion company and go IPO right now.
I love that. Okay, Roger, what do you say? So move towards vertical integration, and will there be a few big winners or many smaller ones?
Yeah, I think Rachel covered really well. I'm an early stage investor, but overall, I think it's part of the gravities for consolidation in late stage, right? So just make it a few funder want to take exit, and the by consolidate the resources, and the company will tend to go toward more profitabilities. But I do think beside that, just answer another part of the question is that I do think a lot of opportunities on the verticals for early stage startups, because the difficult thing right now, I always encourage my founder, especially like early when still at ideation, right? So thinking about what kind of data you can capture, really try to capture the data which are like a challenge to capture, which are doesn't exist in internet, which was hidden behind the wall, or like no one has even record that. So that will become your mode, and that will become like the make your to the intelligence and the AIs to support the particular vertical needs other people are not able to. So yeah, I do think there are a lot of opportunities, and but in the end, if it's become a fragmented market, I think a consolidation is unavoidable.
One of my big aha moments in thinking about AI was when AlphaGo beat the first human Go master. And I read a lot about it. It was a super interesting development in AI, because Go is enormously difficult and complex and takes place in this vast game space. And it had been thought for a long time that artificial intelligence would never get there. The way AlphaGo wins is not by completely crushing and dominating its opponent. It's by optimizing towards a path that will let it win by one stone. And that opened up a whole new world of gameplay that humans hadn't really explored. One of the beneficial knock-on effects has been that human Go players have become enormously more creative in the years since AlphaGo. They've started to play this wildly unexpected, non-traditional Go, and the standard of Go playing has improved enormously. To me, this points to the question of what does it mean to win? If we're defining the winning condition here as one person ends up with all the money, then no one's going to win because no one's going to end up with all of the money in the world. If we define a winning condition as, is there space here for enough people to play and enough people to improve their lives and do creative work and make enough money to have a nice retirement, then a huge number of people are going to win out of this market. If you redefine winning away from winner take all, the 0 to 1 paradigm, and into a world of, can we all find a place in which we fit and we can do fantastic work, then there are a lot more winners and there are a lot more possibilities and the game space gets a lot bigger.
Wow, I love this perspective so much. Um, and this is kind of like a path that I thought we would go down in this conversation as well. Of AI kind of AI is becoming better. Does that make us better as a civilization, as individual thinkers? What's your view on that, and what does kind of, I don't know, the market, or is this something that's being addressed by founders in terms of a question or a market?
I think AI can make us better the way having children can make us better. It's a tool, but it's eventually going to be more than a tool. That's pretty clear to all of us. But your children only make you a better person if you do the work to step up and be the parent that they need. And AI is only going to make us better if we do the work and step up and take responsibility for the data sets that we're putting in and the bias that we introduce and the harm that can come out of these technologies. Um, they're not AI systems are not going to be able to make us make hard moral decisions. Only we can do that. And I think it's that makes us truly human.
Roger, what do you think?
Um, yeah, I think in the end, uh, like uh, human, like what are the values we created, right? Like, so like it's true. It's one more like that's potential future is that uh the power, because the computing is power, and some of the large uh like the power could get more concentrated in some of the few people's, that's definitely a lot of people's concern. However, I think if uh, uh, like let's a future we don't want it to end up to be. However, if we can fund like go to the like the the like what make people, what would make us happy, right? So like uh what make the, in term of uh like uh the friendship, the hard work, the values, and let's what the creativities. That's what like a human can persist. Like it's true that like in the next in the next like 10 to 20 years, there are a lot of answers. As we like walk out of it, I believe that we are going to have a more like strive society.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the reason I'm asking this because I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to be talking to Rachel and Roger about AI, and the question of are we living in a simulation came to my mind. And obviously, you guys probably think about this a lot. I think about this a lot, and I was kind of reading somewhere that whatever AI is going to make us. I don't know if you saw it, like escape the simulation as well. Like we're kind of taking it to the next level. And I was thinking about it because at Decel Group, what we have done with kind of all the VC funds that we're supporting is that we've put all of our knowledge into an LLM, and the LLM is kind of to a large extent. And Roger, this is after your time, but Rachel, this is very much kind of when you came. The AI is kind of training all these venture capital investors to set up the fund and kind of be good, kind of get into the sector basically. And I was just kind of like, whoa, like, AI is making VCs right now. So I don't know if you guys want to comment on that, or if you want to give your view on are we living in a simulation.
Well, two things there. One is that Decile Base is a joy to interact with because it's imbued with all of the humanity that you and Mike and Adeo put into it. It answers questions the same way the three of you do. So what it has become is a huge force multiplier for the three of you. And it enables you to carry on the excellent work that you're doing at a much larger scale. To the simulation point, a little bit frivolous, but my working model of the universe is that yes, we are in a simulation and that we are all player characters in a giant video game, and we're all individually being played by the universal intelligence. The reason I think that way is because it reminds me that we are all alike and we all have our own inner life and our own suffering and our own capacity for joy. It reminds me that there are no non-player characters and that we're all connected. It's a frivolous model of the universe, but one with immensely practical outcomes in that it reminds me to treat everybody as fully human. It's a fun thought experiment, but there are thought experiments that you can run that improve your behavior. So that's one that I like to fall back on.
That is so cool. It's such a human, non kind of robotic, digital view of everything being digital. Wow, I love that so much. Roger, what about you?
Yeah, I think uh like the difference from a simulation or gaming is that like we don't get to save on the load, right? So like
Yeah.
maybe for expect I think when I was doing when I make investment decisions, I definitely went through like a lot of simulations like in my brain on what could be the potential outcome, and that's for the investment decision. But what I do have a lot of respect for the founder as I invest in, because for them it's not a game, right? So let's 1 second. But the VC is more about probability. So like we invest in 30 companies and hopefully to have a few winner.
Yeah, there's that lovely Mary Oliver line, "What are you gonna do with your one wild and precious life?" Roger's right, we're all gonna die. Like, even if we amass all of the money in the world, we're all gonna die. But what an incredible time to be alive. What a privilege to be here to see these incredible tools. What a privilege to be able to walk around this beautiful world. Spend your time working on things that you love and that bring you to life and that bring you joy. Let's harness the AI to do all of the boring grunt work. Let's create an AI that will file my taxes for me so that I can spend more time sitting in the garden. By the way, Mary Oliver, when she wrote, "What are you going to do with your one wild and precious life?" was not saying go and climb Mount Everest. She was literally sitting in her garden watching the squirrels. So, um, you know, get a good book from the library, go and touch grass, and think about how we can make a world which is more joyful and creative and delightful for everybody in the brief time that we're here.
I love that so much. And I was actually going to ask you guys for kind of parting words. Um, Rachel, it feels like this was it for you. You know, it's culminated. Like, um, Roger, what kind of parting words do you have for everyone here? Kind of either founder working, building an AI company, investor looking to invest in this space. Kind of what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we are just in a really exciting period, right? So like every day is new. This space evolves so fast. We should feel everyone should feel very lucky to live in this period, and to be part of this a technology breakthrough and see how it can shape our whole society and improve everyone's everyday life. Yeah.
What a beautiful way to end this panel. Roger, Rachel, thank you so much for kind of sharing so much of your knowledge, wisdom, kind of ideas, thoughts with us today on such an important topic of our humanity and kind of what is going to be history in a few years' time. Thank you also for all the great work that you're doing and for being ethical in this space. And I think, we can feel at ease knowing that you guys are kind of driving this sector forward. So keep doing a great job. Everyone, please give one last round of applause for our beautiful panel, and we'll see you all at the networking. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Berto.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, everyone.